Hey everyone, Aaron here from Push Square. So, you've chucked on Diablo 4, but you aren't sure which class to choose. Well, thankfully, I'm here with a handy guide on the best classes for beginners and what you can expect from each. When you boot up the game, one of the first things that you'll be asked to choose is one of Diablo 4's 5 classes. Now these classes are the Barbarian, Necromancer, Rogue, Druid and Sorcerer, and each will come with their own strengths and weaknesses. It's a big decision to make right out of the gate, but so you are equipped with the knowledge to make that right decision, here's a breakdown of each. The Barbarian is a force of nature on the battlefield, indomitable and equipped for any situation thanks to the versatility of the arsenal system. The arsenal system allows the Barbarian to equip 4 weapons simultaneously, utilising any combination of 2 two-handed weapons and 2 one-handed weapons, or dual wielding. With the largest HP pool of any class and a vast array of offensive and mobility based skills, Barbarians can be found in the thick of every fight. Building up fury with each attack, you will be able to deal out bloody and merciless blows, encouraging you further to get stuck into things. By keeping different types of magical weapons on hand, you can also take advantage of elemental weaknesses, and as you learn to master the class, you can even assign specific weapons to specific skills, ensuring that the most optimal weapon is used every time. At the end of the day though, the Barbarian is a bruiser and the perfect class for beginners to really come to grips with what Diablo 4 is all about. The Necromancer is a versatile caster, able to spec for close combat or ranged damage, and can rely on the support of a small horde of summoned skeletal minions in combat. While not initially powerful, these pawns take the pressure off the player quite a bit, allowing you to put those necromantic powers to work as and where they're needed. It's long been a fan favourite class of the series, and why wouldn't it be? With the ability to not only raise the dead, but then send those dead back towards the enemy to explode, that is just, it's too cool. But if that isn't quite your style, then you can also sacrifice the minion ability for powerful and permanent buffs like 30% extra damage to weakened enemies. Beyond this, the Necromancer can harness the power of blood, darkness and bone magic. All 3 disciplines feature powerful offensive magics, but spells like Bone Prison or Blood Mist allow for some great crowd control options and utility spells as well. Whichever way you decide to build your Necromancer, you will have a whole host of abilities at your command to deal with any situation thrown at you, and that's what makes it such a great class for those starting out. Moving on to the Rogue, this is a powerful class in the hands of a skilled user, able to control the battlefield through the skillful use of traps, and deals a wide variety of damage types via imbuements such as poison, cold or shadow damage. With high mobility, dual-wielded swords and daggers, and talents geared towards generating insane critical damage, it's a flamboyant playstyle, but not for the faint of heart. It's certainly a lot weaker than the Barbarian or Necromancer, but at the same time manages to maintain a nice middle point of both ranged and melee damage. For a more classic approach, you could focus on the marksman set of skills and employ a purely ranged playstyle. This makes you just as deadly from afar, nailing demonic foes with pinpoint accuracy and dealing wild amounts of damage precisely where it's needed. Of course, keeping the howling hordes of hell in place long enough to do so is a challenge in its own right, so you're going to need to be careful when playing as this one. The Druid is a primordial conduit of nature's wrath, capable of tearing the earth asunder and restricting the movement of enemies. What that means is that it's pretty damn powerful. Once pinned down, the Druid can unleash the power of the storm, raining lightning upon hapless foes, blowing away what remains with a powerful blast of wind. And when all else fails, the Druid can also shapeshift into a violently agile werewolf, increasing the attack speed and critical rate. For more heavy-duty destruction though, there's also the option of the Werebear form, which deals massive area of effect damage to anything caught in its path and vastly increases survivability. This is really your go-between a Barbarian and something more magically powerful like a Sorcerer, and through the customization system you can lean more towards your ruthless magic abilities or your limb-tearing shapeshifting skills, or even find a hybrid mix of the two. There's a nice versatility to this class which can actually make it a better pick than Barbarian at times when it comes to dealing high amounts of damage to singular targets or crowds, but this one certainly requires a bit more investment in the build. The Sorcerer employs arcane magic to annihilate their enemies, chief among them the schools of Frost, Pyromancy and Shock. Incredibly powerful, the Sorcerer is also exceedingly fragile and needs to be played cautiously, managing mana and ensuring enemies don't live long enough to harm them. Frost is really ideal for your crowd control, slowing the movement speed of enemies, and you could even freeze them in place. Pyromancy, on the other hand, is all about explosive fire damage, geared towards inflicting maximum carnage, and finally, Shock magic might have the most utility, with abilities that will reduce cooldowns and increase critical damage, and eventually allow the Sorcerer to teleport safely out of harm's way. So this is the perfect class to deal with crowds, and by far the best ranged class out of the lot. With all of those, here is the general difficulty rating of all 5 classes, with the Barbarian being the easiest to get to fighting standards for newcomers, and the Sorcerer being one of the hardest to master. Of course, each has its own thing going on, and what appeals to you will certainly differ from what appeals to me. But you should always keep in mind that while these are presets to a degree, the endgame Paragon system, as well as the leveling system itself, allow you to forge your own version of each class. And you can have multiple characters in this game too. If you make it through the entire campaign as one class, you don't need to play it again to get into the good stuff with another. I'd always recommend experimenting with the classes and just having fun. And now with this video, I hope you have a better idea of what to expect from each class, and maybe you've been slightly informed as to which one you want to pick. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. I've been Aaron, I'm off to play more Diablo, surprise surprise, and I'll see you in the next one.